Hello and welcome to the second episode of May Contain Mild Peril with me, Jet Shepherd, and Aaron Picard.
Hello.
It's a bit formal, the introduction, but
we have been on a creative hiatus.
we have we haven't been very good at keeping to a schedule. But
Yeah.
from now on, it'll be every week.
Yeah.
Whatever day this gets uploaded, next week it'll be the same day. Probably a Tuesday, but if it's a Wednesday, then that'll be our new episode.
It just, I mean, there's so many podcasts out there. We just want to, we want to accommodate our listeners.
And ourselves.
And ourselves.
Yeah.
Mainly ourselves.
Right, shall we get straight to it?
Yeah, sure.
You got a big outfit
Yeah.
on the set?
No.
Apologise some more?
No, I'm not going to apologise. No. I mean,
Alright.
don't know anyone.
So, if you didn't listen last time, I'm not sure when it was last time, about 2 months ago or something, wasn't it?
It was before I saw Dunkirk, and I saw Dunkirk at the beginning of August.
It didn't come out to the end of, the beginning of August, so about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About a month
alright.
ago.
Okay, so there's still a long time. But anyway, we're back in it now. So, every week from now on, we'll start by going through our Letterboxd accounts over the last week and just talking about some of the films we watched.
Yeah, I mean,
what were your
Letterboxd accounts and what I've watched are sort of becoming quite separate now because I've not really used my Letterboxd until this week when I updated it. I sort of just fell out of using it because it became so habitual. I used to go see a film and then sort of immediately log on to Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Don't really do that anymore. I
get
don't know
back
why,
to
but
that?
now I'm getting back into it because we're getting back into the swing of things with podcasts. Might as well be called the Letterboxd podcast because the way that Letterboxd has affected my consumption of movies is quite ridiculous, actually.
Yeah,
It's just such an easy way to find new films to watch.
When-
What have you been watching this
When
week?
did the week start?
The week starting the 11th.
Alright, so I started with It Follows. Have you seen It Follows?
No, I've heard good things about it though.
I've seen 2 horror films this week, which is more than I usually
Blimey.
watch.
Yeah.
It's very good. Yeah, it's very different and unsettling. I wouldn't really call it scary. There are a few sort of jumpy moments.
Yeah.
But
Most people said it was the best horror movie of last year.
came out in 2014.
Well, the year it came out.
the year it came out. they
Yeah.
said that. Yeah, or the year after they said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I guess if you don't really watch much horror, what were your expectations going into it?
I don't know. Well, I knew what it was about. And
Because
it's
I saw it this week, and I really haven't watched a lot of horror. It didn't encourage me to watch more. I mean, it wasn't particularly scary, but you know how you go and see a certain type of film and your expectations are already sort of pre-configured towards what you think that film's going to be. So, for example, if I go and see a comedy starring James Franco, I'll have an idea of what sort of human to expect, right?
Yeah.
With a horror, it was a little bit weird because I didn't really have any concrete expectations apart from the fact that it was meant to be really scary because that's how they're all marketing it, isn't it? Really, you look at the way that they market horror. It's like, oh my god, this is the scariest film you'll ever see.
Well, I bet they seem to be marketing on two fronts, both that it's very scary and also it's this coming of age, Stand By Me-esque.
Yeah, it's really sort of Stand By Me actually.
Yeah.
Really, and Stranger Things. I don't think it could have. I don't know when it went into production.
Yeah, that's what people say. It went in before. Earliest trace of it, like 2007. But they
always knew they wanted to reboot it.
It went into production properly before Stranger Things came out.
It's sort of like a closed loop because you could say that Stranger Things is really influenced by Stephen King's sort of picture of Middletown America.
Well, it's all the same sort of.
Which has obviously come to surface in a modern context.
Yeah.
Now in the new era. And so in that sense they all sort of feed together and it just might be coincidental. Although the casting of whoever the kid's name is who's in Stranger Things.
Yeah,
surely that must have been sort of, I guess if it was in development and then casting, I imagine.
Yeah, maybe it was in pre-production before Strange Things bit. It must have started filming after because that was over a year ago now.
But in any case, I wasn't sure, and I'm not sure if you had this with It Follows. You knew it was a horror, so you were expecting it to be scary. But that sort of expectation of it being scary dominates any other expectation you have about it.
Not really, because I wouldn't watch a film just so that I could be scared.
You wouldn't.
No,
so what were you expecting from It Follows? What did you get?
Like a good story, and it is a good story.
Yeah.
And something different. I wouldn't watch I know, The Conjuring 2, which just has a load of jump scares, you just go in to be scared, and then that's what you take away. I want something different. Like,
Why do you just not like being scared? Because I'm quite averse to horror. Like.
Yeah, I don't really like being scared. I can deal with being scared if it's going to give me something else as well. Like It Follows is an interesting story. It's
What's it about?
Idea. So do you not know what it's about?
No.
Alright, so it's about a girl who sleeps with this guy, and then it turns out that he had kind of like a virus where this thing, it follows you and tries to eat you, but it can only walk. It can't run or anything like that. And it can be anybody you know or anybody you don't know, so you never know who it is. And you pass it on by having sex with someone, and then that person.
Yes, I do know what it's about.
And then it goes back along the trail after it kills everyone.
Oh,
and so she, it starts following her, and she's trying to get rid of it. And
what did you give it? 5 stars?
No, 4 stars.
4 stars.
It's not that good. I've never given a horror film 5 stars.
Never.
No.
So you would
10 Cloverfield Lane, I gave 4.5, but I wouldn't really count that as horror.
Really? 4.5? I haven't seen it, so I don't know why I'm reacting that way. There's so many horror films at 5 stars. Worthy. Maybe it just hasn't. You seen Rosemary's Baby? We were talking about it.
Yeah, I have seen that. That's not 5 star worthy.
What?
No, it's like The Exorcist. People love The Exorcist, but I've seen clips of it and it's just hilarious. It doesn't seem scary at all. Maybe at the time it was, but now I don't think.
Yeah, but like you just said it yourself earlier, like, a lot of films with horror, it's got to be more than just scaring you to be considered good.
Yeah, but
so maybe The Exorcist does that inspire
maybe.
Sort of.
I haven't seen The Exorcist, so I can't say. But yeah, and I'll watch The Exorcist one day, and I'll report back.
I understand how people love it so much. I didn't sort of quite like it. What else have you watched this week?
Right. So you said that it didn't inspire you to watch more horror films.
Well, it didn't sort of. You know how you can watch one film of a certain type, and then that can just sort of ignite a fire, which makes you want to sort of chase down everything that's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't do that.
The next day I watched Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, that's brilliant, yeah.
I didn't think it was that great.
Really? Why not?
I thought it was alright. I think it was very good up until the bit where... shall I spoil it?
Well, I mean, like, say it and spoil it.
Alright, I'm going to spoil it. Although skip like 10 seconds. The bit where they go, go down to the elevator in the actual base bit. Then I thought it just got a bit stupid and...
It's meant to be a sort of deconstruction of horror, right?
But then I think it became... It didn't know how to end. But up until that point, I quite liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it since it came out.
I think it could have been funnier as well. I don't know if they're trying to be funny in that.
It reminds me of Scream a lot. Have you seen Scream?
No, I've seen bits.
That sort of meta horrorness to it.
Yeah.
Like self-consciously aware of the fact that it's a horror and it sort of plays on its own tropes really cleverly. I quite like that.
Yeah,
and also horror endings are always a problem for horror movies because you have to reach something of a resolution. I don't know. You have to, because most horrors do leave you at the end feeling a little bit like, is this really the end?
Well, yeah, It Follows had a bit of a contrived ending, but then like the very last scene is very well done. But let's move on. The only other film which I really think is worth talking about is a film I saw yesterday. Came out last year. I never heard of it before yesterday. It's called Our Little Sister.
Okay.
Do you know it?
No.
It's a Japanese film, live action.
Yeah.
But it's based on a manga. It's about these 3 sisters in their 20s who lived together. They found out their father died.
Yeah.
And he had a 14-year-old daughter with another woman. And they invite her to come and live with them. It's kind of like a social drama, I suppose.
So it's not a comedy?
No,
sounds like it could be a comedy.
It's got funny elements, but it's not. It reminded me a bit of like a more happy Manchester by the Sea.
Okay.
It's just you follow these characters around as they.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. Which I really didn't like Manchester by the Sea, but I did like this, and I think the reason is because there's progression. Like Manchester by the Sea, he starts being really miserable about everything, and by the end he's still really miserable about everything. But there's sort of more progression in the characters, and they.
You didn't like Manchester by the Sea at all, did you? That's an incredible film.
Yeah, everyone.
Well, incredible of it. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
I just found it really pointlessly depressing. I didn't feel my life was enriched by it because none of the characters changed throughout the story.
Does your life have to be enriched by it?
Yeah, I think the film needs to be worth my time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth my time.
As long as well.
It was quite long. Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it a lot. But what else have you watched this week? Anything else?
That's the only thing that's really. Oh, one other thing that might be worth talking about is Rope. That's all.
You watched Rope? Did you like it?
I did like it. Yeah, I think it's a bit. It's the same thing I sort of had with Death in Paradise. Is it's a bit of
Death in Paradise.
Not Trouble in Paradise.
Oh, teaser.
Which is well, we announced it last time. So
yeah. But this is
and it'll be in the title.
Yeah. No, a teaser to your analysis later.
Yeah,
to come.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing with this film, but it's feels. You know, you can tell it's an old film. It's got.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. No, but you know what I mean.
Do you think the fact that Trouble in Paradise is in black and white?
No, it's sort of that sort of school of acting, and you know, everyone has to talk with these proper accents, and it all feels a bit too unrealistic, which I don't really feel happens.
Well, I don't see how that applies equally to both. I think Trouble in Paradise, and we'll get onto this, is a melodrama. They're melodramatic elements, but I don't think that's. You can argue towards the end of Rope that there are melodramatic elements. But
Yeah,
I don't think the film is
just
a melodrama.
like so many of the actors overact, like the I can't tell you who the character's called. The main guy who kills the student, and the really overconfident one. He really milks it.
I absolutely love Rope.
I think it's good. But the thing is, this melodramatic sense where I get with a lot of old films, I don't normally get with Hitchcock.
But don't you think there's a certain genius to the film and how well it's paced and how it's the way that it is staged and everything about how it works through the story is just
seems to me like a play. It doesn't really seem like anything.
I think yeah, because it is a play. It was based on but I think that the way that the camera works elevates it to something.
Yeah, the camera work is very good.
And the music.
It's almost
and the sort of foregrounding.
It doesn't cut really, does it?
No, which is like so.
Yeah.
It just keeps you like it's the way that the tension is built is just sort of that's the film you point to when people ask you why is Alfred Hitchcock the master of suspense, because he just holds.
See, I wouldn't point to that film. I did like it. I gave it 4 stars, but I would say Rear Window is more of a suspenseful film. And I don't think we should talk about this because we could analyse this forever.
Really?
Yeah, well, okay. I feel Rear Window there's more of a tension because you're separated from the action.
Were you immersed in the film when you watched it?
Yeah, I would say so pretty much.
Yeah.
I found James Stewart's accent very good.
Yeah, he puts on a little bit of a
very
Ivy League accent, doesn't he?
Shouted, yeah. And then when he starts shouting, I feel old actors, they tend to have 2 volumes, which is either speak very quietly or shout about everything.
Yeah.
There's not much nuance there.
Yeah. You need to get over this though if you're going to enjoy old films, because like a lot of them are like that. I don't think it affects the film. I've never sort of. You're the only person I've spoken to who like really is affected by.
I don't think it didn't affect me watching the film.
I mean, you're talking about it now. Like.
No, I'm just saying these are some of the things I had. Anyway, we've talked for 15 minutes about the films I watched, so perhaps we should talk about some of the films you watched.
Yeah, sure. On Monday I watched Big Sick, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting to like it so much. You've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I just thought it was brilliant. I thought there were a few things that were a little bit rubbly, I guess. It's an interesting word to use, but like the role of arranged marriage in the film was quite ambiguous. Yeah. And it didn't really tackle it head on like it perhaps should have. But I loved it. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah. I think Holly Hunter and what's her husband called?
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano, that's it. They were really good.
Holly Hunter was alright. I don't understand why you liked her so much in that film. I was trying to see what.
I just feel. I don't know. How can you explain why you
overacting a bit? Like.
No, I don't think. I think Zoe Kazan wasn't in it that much, which I won't complain about.
Was what so?
Zoe Kazan wasn't in it that much.
What you didn't like her that much?
I find she's fine. She's just a bit creating presence.
Is she?
Do you not find think so?
No, she's alright.
She's fine.
She can only ever play a role. She can only ever play sort of harmless characters. Really.
Yeah.
She's essentially Ruby Sparks in this film.
All the films I've seen her in, she plays Ruby Sparks. I don't think that's particularly surprising. Yeah, I can't think of a film where she doesn't play Ruby Sparks.
I've not sort of.
I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 of the films, but.
I saw Rocco, which I'm not going to talk about for long. It's a documentary about porn star, and I was expecting it to be a lot better.
I recognise the name.
Yeah.
Is it?
Where from?
What?
Where do you recognise the name from?
Well, I don't know much about porn stars, but it does sound familiar. Is he one of the ones from that Lovelace?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why then.
It's just about him. It was alright. I think because porn in itself, is a lot of films and some documentaries and shows can be a really interesting way to explore certain aspects of like contemporary culture.
Yeah.
Like Boogie Nights, for example, which is just it's just incredible. And then even like Louis Theroux's documentary, bearing in mind this TV show, the After Porn
I've seen a lot of
actually
documentaries about porn.
Yeah, no, I just think it's because it is just sort of, and a lot of people who have like made films about porn have always asked that question of like, what is it that drives people to do something like that? And then I watched It on Wednesday, and that was okay.
Yeah, I thought we've talked about that already. Really.
Yeah, it wasn't really that scary either. Then I watched 5 Easy Pieces with Jack Nicholson in, which is about a guy who's rich and he ends up working oil rigs and then he goes back home. It's just one of those slow moving sort of like films about like life and America.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it was alright. A lot of the reviews, I went through the reviews on Letterboxd, absolutely love it. Like, I just couldn't. And I'm all for a slow moving social burner. But,
it sounds like my reaction to Manchester by the Sea then.
Yeah, no, because I don't know.
You see all these good reviews and you don't really get what you're...
No, but no one's giving it 5 stars. And people were giving it Manchester by the Sea 5 star. Apart from one who hasn't reviewed it. I mean, it just sort of... where it attempted to be quite poetic and make quite deep points, it sort of... I think it failed a little bit. It just wasn't... I mean, Jack Nicholson in the film's incredible, but it didn't really interrogate many of the things it was touching on, like about his sort of loneliness and things like that. And it moved quite quickly, but quite confusingly, so that you weren't really sure what was really going on, I found.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then this morning I watched a film which will lead us nicely to the main event, actually, which is an Ernest Lubitsch film called Bluebeard's Eighth Wife. And it was about a banker who falls in love with a girl. And
is it based on Bluebeard?
No. Wait, it might be based on the myth, because it's about a banker. It's set in...
Do you know the story of Bluebeard?
No, what's the story of Bluebeard?
The story of Bluebeard, alright, this isn't relevant to Origin at all, but it's just about a guy who basically marries a lot of people, kills them, and then puts them in a dungeon.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, he marries a lot of people. He's married a lot of people, and then he falls in love with this girl, tries to marry her, marries her, but then just before they sort of announce their marriage, tells her that he's previously had 7 wives. And it's about that. It's just sort of what happens. It's hilarious. It's like so funny.
Yeah, it does sound similar to Bluebeard apart from the killing bit.
Yeah,
which is quite a significant part of the story.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, it's just classic Lubitsch, and like definitely very similar in style and humour to Trouble in Paradise. Just that way of just making just like eye winking jokes. It's one eye winking at the audience, and it's just it's brilliant.
Shall we get on to the main event now?
Yeah, let's go.
Do you want to introduce it?
Well, the way that this podcast works is basically we have a main event which we discuss, and we each set a film for each other every episode, as well as all the sort of other things that we'll talk about. And I decided to set you Trouble in Paradise, which is from 1932. It's directed by Ernst Lubitsch, who used to work for the Max Reinhardt Theatre in Germany, left at age 21, and then went on to act and then direct several films. He left a year before Hitler started banishing artists from Nazi Germany.
Really?
And
1932.
Yeah, and Trouble in Paradise is in 1932.
So this must have been his first film he made.
No, it wasn't.
he started hundreds of films.
Yeah, he made a lot. He died quite young as well. But Trouble in Paradise is what many critics will consider a flawless comedy. That's what Philip French said in his review for The Guardian. Most critics consider Trouble in Paradise a flawless comedy. And it's about, broadly, it's about Gaston and Lily, a thief and a pit bull. And they join forces to con out a jewellery heiress called Colette, played by Kay Francis. And that's broadly what it's about. But it's also about a love triangle. It's also about high society, bearing in mind there's a depression in the film. And it's a comedy. So what did you think of it?
Okay. So, I have 2 opinions about it.
2 opinions?
Two sort of two opinions about different aspects of it. Right. So on one hand, because I studied English and history at university.
Yeah.
For the audience, and so as sort of like a historical artifact, like as this sort of film, which is kind of like one of the first ever talkies, and sort of like bridging the gap between silent films and
Yeah.
well, not even films you have today, like sort of like the Hitchcock kind of style
Yeah.
of film, of like Casablanca. You can kind of see sort of both influence, or not even influence, like you sort of see it fits in this sort of middle space between these two.
Yeah.
And so that I found really fascinating,
Uh-huh.
like how the process of Hollywood created this film. That I found interesting, just watching the film. But
It's pre-code as well, so this
Yeah.
was before, and you can tell, can't you? This is
Yeah,
it's quite
right.
raunchy.
it's quite
many-
raunchy for that period, I suppose.
Well, a lot of people have argued that it's a film about sex. But anyway, carry on.
Well, yeah, it's like, have you seen the Shape?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That was originally like one of the most controversial films of all time.
Mm.
That was like considered nigh on porn, and it's like,
Because a lot of pre-code films are really short, so I watched a bunch of them when I was working because it would just be really quick to watch. Some of them are really quite disturbing. Like a lot of, and like just really bad, like really bad. Like
Yeah.
just some of the things you can get them on YouTube, and I'll update my letterbox with most of the ones I watch. But like, there's this one called like not Narcotic, but something like that. And it's just like it's about an anti-drug film. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry.
there's
So as a historian, it's
as a piece of historical, what they call it, they have like an American archive of film, so as a cultural significant film, I've got
cultural
that.
artifact.
Yeah, as a cultural artifact, I thought it was quite interesting. As a film itself, in terms of its plot and writing and enjoyment,
Yeah.
I rate it quite lowly.
Oh, why?
Well, it's just so kind of sort of melodramatic and twee and kind of. I don't know, I could have.
Did you not? Did you laugh at any point in the film?
Not for the reasons they wanted me to laugh.
Oh no!
I laughed at how, like, the bit that stood out for me is like, I can't remember what the name. What are the names, Gus? Or what are the names that they use?
Gaston
to
and
start-
Lily.
What are the names they start off?
Oh, Montesquieu.
Yeah. So you, Montesquieu, are a thief. So,
Yes,
funny you should say that, because you. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. I really-
Well, really, that's a
Yeah.
bit of a violent reaction.
No, I just
sort of.
Yeah, I just don't like this whole.
But you do realise it's a critique of that society. Like, they exemplify the most ridiculous tendencies of the upper class. Because this was made in the Depression, so
The
this is
thing
meant
is,
to sort of take the piss.
Actually, no, I'll tell you one thing I did laugh at. I genuinely did find funny. The bit quite near the beginning, maybe 10, 15 minutes in, where there's a butler and he's talking between two groups of people.
Mm.
I can't remember who the two groups are now. I have it written here. Oh, that's it. It's between the American and Italians, and he's just running between the two.
Yeah.
That I did find quite funny.
Yeah.
But then I think the thing is, I think as it got on, like the film grated on me more, and the less that I.
Really?
Yeah, well, and so it grated on me more, and so the less I managed to take in, I guess.
Okay. Did you notice the distinctive style of humour in the film?
Not really.
Let me, because I've managed to find this. Look at this. I mean, it's a
what is-
podcast. This with I went to the
He's
BFI
handing
shop,
up-
right?
He's holding a.
Yeah, an
That's
old
why.
BFI program, because I went to the shop and they started selling all their old programs. This is the reason why I chose Travel in Paradise, because
Interesting.
but the way they describe the Lubitsch touch, right? I'll read it out. Pages have been written about the celebrated Lubitsch touch. Those fleeting visual and verbal moments, usually enclosing a sexual innuendo which the audience never quite sees. Too many pages in some instances, as the writers tend to concentrate on the better known titles, which are not necessarily the best. Bearing in mind that Trouble in Paradise is the best known Lubitsch title. Maybe Ninotchka, but... So did you not notice that sort of... Because that is seen as no one's ever been able to do that. So like there's this sort of wink at the audience style humour where, like, for instance, that scene when... where Gaston is running between the bedrooms.
I can't really say I've noticed it as being particularly. But then I think because it seemed to me so stereotypical in the film, or like so stereotypical. Yeah, stereotypical is the perfect word, because not of anything in particular, just of this kind of idea of this melodramatic 1920s society. It really emphasized, and I'm sure 1920s America was nothing like.
It's not set in
What?
America.
No, I know it's not, but it's a very American film. feels like.
I don't
In
think it's
in the
American.
society of portraying, or maybe not even American. Just
A lot of
just maybe
Lubitsch's
just
films
like
are.
Western 1920s stuff.
A lot of Lubitsch's films are quite critical
Yeah.
of America. I think it's just a brilliant. I can't think of a flaw in this film because it's just the way it's paced as well. The dialogue is so snappy and quick. Like it's incredible to think that it came out when
The
it did.
dialogue was terrible. That's what really.
Oh, the dialogue is incredible.
It's
It's
just
just
so-
the way that
They
each of the
don't
characters.
speak like people. That's what annoyed me.
But why not many movies manage to speak like people? And also, this is a reflection of a society where people do speak differently. Like,
Well, no, because I like Shakespeare. Shakespeare doesn't talk like that, but there's still something profound in what they're saying. This it just felt grating, and like there's no kind of. It felt like it was written poorly.
I think poorly written.
Yeah.
I found that the whole way it constructs this upper class world sort of brings the film into a world of fantasy almost, because it understands that not men like most people who are watching this film probably don't have a grasping on this society. Many people probably did, but like the whole Art Deco apartment of Colette and how the way that the parties continue to roll out, how they're always going out, their dresses, and how just generally how I think the pace of the film mirrors the dizziness of that high society scenario which is set in, which I found really, really sort of. It's just an enthralling film, like, and it's such a blast as well. Like everyone looks like they're having so much fun. I found it just. I found it funny, but I don't think I found it. I wasn't laughing. I never. At no point found myself laughing at the film. I just thought that the humour is just so original. I can't think of anyone who, even today, does humour like Lubitsch. Wes Anderson tried to do it with Grand Budapest Hotel, and him and Ralph Fiennes mentioned that Trouble in Paradise was the main influence for Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, but I just don't feel it's very well done. I think, like the dialogue, one of the reasons I put here, while the dialogue might not be, I might have found the dialogue is good, is because it was written by people who weren't used to writing dialogue in films. You know, they were used to writing silent films, and perhaps it wasn't. That's why the dialogue feels so grating. And like,
I didn't find it grating at all.
the thing is, and it's not like I'm averse to old films. Like you go 10 years later, Casablanca is one of my favourite films ever, and that's still got elements of this, but it just feels less. I don't know. It feels. I can't really say what it is. It's just, you know, it misses that je ne sais quoi, which
What's that? What does that mean?
I don't know what.
Oh, okay.
Have you not heard that expression before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the audience.
Okay, the audience.
I know.
Yeah, the editing was pretty poor in some places. Like there's a
Oh,
scene-
come on! Like, give it a break.
There's a scene where just music cuts out halfway through. Like,
Yeah, no.
that was.
I'll give it a break, right? Like,
Alright, okay, I'll say.
there's also some really good sequence, really well framed sequence. The opening sequence with the guy in the canal,
Yeah.
really well shot.
That was quite popular.
Also, the news broadcast in that, also fantastic.
What's the point of that news broadcast?
Exposition. You introduced to the main love interest through that news broadcast.
Oh yeah, no, not the news broadcast. The bit where they just reeled off a load of adverts.
Yeah, brilliant again.
I thought that
I
was.
just thought it was fantastic.
It annoyed me so much. It's
Yeah,
smug.
I feel like
That's
this is
what
some sort of aversion you have to like.
That's what it is. It's smug. It's a smug film. That's what I like.
No, I don't think it's smart.
Okay,
I
I'll tell
think
you
it's
what.
smart.
Here's a challenge. All right. I'll say something I liked about it if you. Oh no, I'll say something positive about it if you say something negative.
I don't have anything negative to say. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. The one thing negative I found, I think he should have ended up with Colette in the end. Spoiler alert.
But
But
it's not really about the film itself, is it? That's just.
no. But I like the fact that he's a dishonest man who can be honest with the fact that he's dishonest. That's what the ending's about, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So it sort of does tie it up so neatly. It's like tying a bow up on a present.
I
Beautiful.
won't really call that.
It's a gift of a film. One thing that was flawed that I didn't like about the film, maybe that sort of weird missing shoe Cinderella moment.
So the very sort of cheesiness of it.
But I also love that. I also love that sequence of scenes that come with it. So, no, I have nothing. I have nothing bad.
To be
say
fair,
about it. I have
last
nothing
week,
bad.
last time, we found ourselves agreeing on pretty much everything. So
Yeah,
this is
this is a
Doesn't
flawless.
say
This
wrong.
is a flawless film.
It's so. We haven't really talked about the acting in this film that much. But,
Don't
like,
need to. It's fantastic.
It's not fantastic. It's terrible. It's so melodramatic. And
Because it's a melodrama.
No,
Like you can't like expect.
That's not an excuse. You can't say it's a melodrama, so all the drama has to be melodramatic. All the characters have to be melodramatic.
We sort of can.
You can't, because why?
Well,
Why does everything have to be melodramatic? It's a melodrama. If it's
Because
a
it's a
comedy,
melodrama.
if it's a comedy, it'll be pretty crap. If it's just
it's
joke
just.
after joke
I just love
after
how
joke,
it's over.
It gets rid of the plot.
It exaggerates the most absurd and funny tendencies of that society.
The thing is, the actors had two styles. It was either kind of being all fake and woozy, or just kind of like not really acting at all. Just kind of like forgetting they're in a film and just talking. And it's not just this film; it's sort of in general. Is that
In general, what like?
in like as like I think probably 90% of actors before 1960 wouldn't get a job if they auditioned the way they did today.
Oh no!
Because I think,
But then, like 90% of
They
actors
don't have
after
a range.
2000 wouldn't get a job in.
well, they are, 'cause they're still working.
No, wouldn't
I
get if they
didn't say
auditioned. If they auditioned in the 30s.
No, maybe not. That's what I mean, though.
But I think you're making two unconnected points there. One of them is that yes, film does change as time goes on, and the
I'm
other
not saying
is that the things that people would have liked back then are a lot different to what we like now, right?
Yeah.
Neither of them are the bearing on Traveling Paradise. Like neither of them has a bearing because I love this film,
Yeah, but I
and
don't.
a lot of people,
And I don't like it for the reasons that you just said.
But I have no connection to the film whatsoever. I mean, I definitely can't relate to sort of bourgeois Parisian society.
Without saying because it's good or because it's flawless, why do you like this film?
I think the humour is genius. The humour, the way that he is able, that Lubitsch is able to sort of mime humour really visually, which a lot of comedies now you don't get much visual humour, and the way he's able to sort of have this sweeping view of society at the time and do it with such like fizz. And that's what's so there's such a fizz in the film and such a life to the film. Like the love triangle and the dynamics between that are done so well. The dialogue is so snappy and hilarious. I mean, I understand you don't like the dialogue. I loved it. Right? I just thought that the way that the characters exchange barbs and lines, and one character will say something and another will sort of take that in a skewed and slightly innuendo direction. I thought it was incredible, and it's difficult to see. It's difficult to find other films that compare to that style of humour. I just think it's so original as well. Like, it's a story with a moral. It's a story which has something quite heartfelt at its core, and a film that is just, yeah, it just ticks all the right boxes.
Would you agree that it's a slow burner?
No.
You don't think you think it starts and immediately you get
Yeah,
caught?
I mean, it's an hour and 25 minutes long.
Yeah, but it doesn't start with anything particularly.
It
If
starts
you,
off-
if you don't know anything about it before you go in, you only really realise it's about a con artist about 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah, well the opening scene, yeah. No, I mean, like, it
The
doesn't
opening
start.
scene
It doesn't
doesn't
start off with the sort of. It doesn't start off with a bang, does it? But
No, that's
I mean,
what I mean.
it's 10 minutes. So the rest of the film is sort of like moves really quickly. I mean, after that, next thing you know, they're in Paris, like, and then all of a sudden, like, that plot develops between Gaston and Claire, and that moves quickly. I like the opening scene. I think is really clever, and a lot of people have highlighted the opening scene because it's sort of the way that being a con artist and a pickpocket is sort of conflated with sort of how like all these sexual connotations are attached to it, and how that's sort of used as a way of flirting. It's just quite original, I thought. When he's pickpocketed, when they all pickpocket each other, that's quite clever, I thought.
I think I just find the film it's just not what I want from a film. It's so culturally different to what I'm used to seeing.
But surely you've seen films that are like culturally different.
Yeah, I have, and that's why I can't. I tell you what it's like then. It's like seeing a French film but without the subtitles.
Nice expression. What does it mean? You didn't understand it.
I understood what was going on, but I couldn't relate to it. I couldn't really see why I should care about the characters and what the film's trying to do.
But I just said that the caring about the character, I cared, but not for any particular reason. Obviously, no one in that film is a particularly good person.
I don't find any of them likeable. That's what I mean. They're all very smug and. Have you got anything else you want to say?
Unabashed. masterpiece.
You can't just keep saying masterpiece.
I've given my reasons. I've given my reasons.
Something you want to bring up about the film that you want to talk about. Don't just keep saying masterpiece. That's what I'm criticising. Well, that doesn't add anything.
But it is a masterpiece. What I want to add to the film, I think that Ernst Lubitsch is a forgotten voice in cinema today. I think more people should watch his films. That's what I'm really. I mean, I'm not like. It's not a call to arms or anything, but I just think if I can enjoy this as like a sort of so unconnected from the sort of things that his films deal with, and there are like so many things about his films that I just do not get, like the cultural differences, the level of society. All of his films are about like upper to middle class people. I watched other film actually, which was really good, about. Like it was about the Nazis invading Poland and this Polish theatre company, which is fantastic.
See, that sounds quite interesting.
Why maybe I should say that one. Because humour is very similar. Actually, I think you probably would have enjoyed that a lot more. What's it called? It's not The Shop Around the Corner, which is the James Stewart film. Yeah, I just think if I can enjoy those films and be that different from someone and find them that funny, then there's something really quite special about it. That's why I chose Trouble in Paradise.
Right, shall we get on to our rating then?
Yeah.
Do you want to explain the rating system again?
Sure.
Or,
scored on 1 to 5. Expectation. What you expected from the film. How good you expected it to be. Experience. Just basically like, yeah, what it was like watching the film. And reflection, which is sort of the way the best to describe it is from the cinema to the train station. What was your sort of reflective judgment on the film?
Okay, am I going first?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Alright, so expectation, I would say 4 because you bigged it up a lot. And that was bearing in mind that was the only thing I knew about the film going in is what you said at the end of last week's podcast.
Okay.
I didn't know anything else about it. So the way you bigged it up, I had quite a lot of expectation. Alright, am I doing all 3 or do you want
to no. Okay, no, I'll do mine actually.
Yeah.
Expectation 4 because like, and if you do look into the film, a lot of critics will talk about this as being Ebert. It's on Ebert's great movies list. But yeah, so I obviously had a high expectation with a lot of critics and people generally just acclaiming it.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah. 2.
Oh God!
Actually, no. My experience and what's the other one?
Reflection.
But yeah, experience and reflection are basically the same. I don't think I've changed since I stopped watching. Because I just 2's good considering how much I've bashed it.
God, ouch. 5 and 5. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 because the reasons I gave. I don't think I need to go into it. And you said 5.
Well, if people want to watch the film and let us know what they think, what would you?
I'll be quite interested to see who sides with who. It's not really like a competition.
It's a pretty like.
It's
a pretty split, yeah.
Shall I announce my film now, or shall we do it at the end?
Yeah, no, go and announce it now. Oh yeah, do it at the end. Like, do it at the end.
Alright, so gonna do a couple of news stories. Well, I suppose the first one's not really news stories, just sort of like talking about Toronto and Venice.
Yeah, have you seen any films that you've quite excited about? I know Death of Stalin is right. Like,
yeah, Death of Stalin. Oh, it's Death of Stalin I was looking forward to, regardless of what any of them say, because I really love Marlene Nucci. I've probably seen the thick of it more than any other TV series. I've seen it probably about 4 times now, maybe.
Blimey.
And but I'm probably looking forward to that film more than any other film coming out this year that's not like a big blockbuster like Star Wars or other things that I looked at a few films which I thought I'd bring up, not because they're good necessarily, but because their reaction's been quite
interesting.
Yeah, like Downsizing we were talking about the other day. I thought before you mentioned it, and when you said as well, that it's been really well received. But
it's sort of skewed a little bit more.
Yeah, looking on Metacritic and stuff reviews, it seems like it's still well received, but it doesn't seem like it will get the attention at the Oscars that everyone was saying it would do. Because it's not. It's got like 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, 77% on Metacritic.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not extraordinary.
Because I was working at Screen for the first week of Venice.
Look at you.
Yeah. Not getting paid there, so. And the initial reaction to Downsizing was extremely positive. It sounded like, and a lot of people were sort of talking it up. But then as time went on, it sort of, because it was at Toronto as well, wasn't it?
It was I don't know. Well, there's some reviews coming out now. It must have been.
Yeah, it sort of went a little bit down.
Yeah. So I don't know. Perhaps the next week you come back to it and it'll be even worse or better.
Yeah. I'm a big Are you an Alexander Payne fan?
Tell me some of his filmography.
Sideways, which is a bloody good film.
Don't think I've
Nebraska,
seen
about Schmidt.
Oh yeah, I do know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the films.
About Schmidt and
what's the one he did after?
George Clooney.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was before, and that was The Descendants.
There is one that I've seen.
The Descendants.
The Descendants. Yeah, I really like The Descendants.
Yeah, everyone's seen it.
But then that was written. That wasn't written by him. That was written by the guy from Community. Jim Rash.
The election.
You'd
like Election.
Oh yeah. Well, as I said, I've seen one of his films and I liked it. So he's got 100% rating at the moment.
A rare accolade.
Well, just because I bashed a film earlier doesn't mean I can't like other films.
Because Alexander Payne's Sideways is... Yeah, Sideways was a special film.
Yeah, I was definitely looking into more of his...
I
tend to, when a film comes out by a director, that tends to be when I'll look back at their filmography and...
Yeah.
You know...
But that's when you see all the article, like with Mother, which we're seeing later today, very exciting.
Yeah.
Loads of lists come out, like Darren Aronofsky's film.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched any of his films recently.
I think, because we can talk about Mother, because was it TIFF? I think the campaign for Mother has been exceptional.
Well, no one knew what it was about.
Exactly. Do you know what it's about?
I think I know enough what it's about, yeah. I think I get the sort of tone of the movie.
But I know what it's about, but I don't know what it's about, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's about unwanted visitors at a newlywed's house.
I think it's not going to be... It's going to be less of a horror film than a traditional, scary horror film.
But I just think the way that first of all, they've rolled out the film internationally today, straight off the momentum that it's getting from Toronto, which is very clever. So instead of having what you see with a lot of films where you've got this gap between festival buzz and a little bit of a lull, and then it's released, they've gone straight for All Guns Blazing after the festival.
But I think you can with Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah. But I think you could do it anyway. You could do it in January with Aronofsky anyway.
Yeah, you could do.
But I also think...
It could be the type of film it is that it could be overshadowed if it was released in January. Because a lot of people are saying that... Mark Kermode did a video I watched, and he was saying how when he went to see it, he didn't say his opinion, but he said when he went to see it at the critic screening, they said you can release your film whenever because it's already been shown at a festival. But we're not going to ask... Apparently, normally, once critics get out, they get asked by the distributor of the film. They said, we're not going to do that because we feel that it's a film you need to think about after you see it. It's not a film that your immediate reaction will be your overall reaction.
Yeah, but I just think it's...
quite...
Yeah. That's quite a good marketing trick.
Yeah, but I feel perhaps a film like that would be better coming out at a quieter time of year rather than January where you've got all this other competition.
Yeah. Well, but then even still, it's very clever of them to sort of position it where it's set front and centre. And the way that they've, generally the way that it's just been rolled out has been fantastic. Yeah.
Going back to Matt Damon, Suburbicon surprised me because everyone seems to hate that.
Oh, it didn't look very good though. It's
only been one trailer. I don't think it just surprises me considering the people that are on board.
Well, there's two. The Coen brothers wrote the script, and then they added and then someone else added another plot to it, didn't they?
Someone else. I can't remember who that other person was, but they're not a bad writer. Yeah, they're still fairly well known.
But I think doing that probably
maybe.
And apparently a lot of people said that you could tell that there's two things going on here that I just thought.
Yeah, that could be true. Yeah, that surprised me. Another thing that surprised me. Or maybe not surprised me as much, but I just found interesting was the reviews for Brie Larson's directorial debut.
Mixed.
You look on sort.
Very mixed.
Yeah, mixed. She said there's a lot of criticism about it, but a lot of it's not. They're saying it's very twee, but they're not saying that's. Well, some of them are saying that's a bad thing, others saying it's not a bad thing. The thing that I think most people, the general consensus is, it's not a very good film, but. The fault isn't really in Brie Larson's director. She could be a competent director with a better project.
Did she write it?
No, she didn't. She just directed it. They seem to be positioning. I don't know, if you take the two extremes, more towards Clint Eastwood, then Ryan Gosling as a director.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't. Time will tell, I guess.
The actress whose directorial debut is really sort of ruffling a lot of feathers is Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird.
That seems to be quite. Well, the reviews I've seen is quite well received, but I swear that others haven't been.
No, I think it's been quite strong.
Quite strong?
Yeah. A lot of people are talking it up as Oscars for Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It looks good. A lot of other films look. Ex Libris, which is going to be at London Film Festival, looks really good. Frederick Wiseman documentary, so 3 hours.
There's a lot of films I saw which surprised me, but I can't think of what they were now.
Shape of Water got very well received, and you got Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And then obviously there's sort of Cannes, not clutter, but like the stuff that filters down and will definitely be part of the conversation soon.
Yeah.
Like Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is that new film from the director The Lobster with Colin Farrell. Which is bloody terrifying.
Is it Nicholas something?
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah, I knew he's Norwegian or something. I remember. I'll see if there's any.
The Square as well. I tagged in the trailer of The Square. Did you watch it?
Did you?
Yeah.
I must have done. If you remind me what
about the art. It's Elizabeth Moss as an art critic. As a journalist.
Oh, maybe I didn't watch it then. Are you sure you tagged me? I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, definitely. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah,
it's quite interesting because it had no buzz. There was no buzz beforehand. A lot of people were talking about this. There was just sort of no, and then it hit. No one was expecting it to hit because he's been sort of a bit dead. The director, he's not really.
Well, he hasn't really. No, I don't think he has been dead.
In terms of box office turnover, Seven Psychopaths.
Well, he's only done
bad,
Seven Psychopaths, but then he did The Hangman on the West End, and that was set out every night and was critically acclaimed.
True,
so.
But Seven Psychopaths was.
Yeah,
it was quite a bad flop.
But then maybe I think that's probably marketing because that's not a bad film. It's not in Bruges.
A lot of people are saying it's better than it.
Perhaps it's more American.
It is opening the. Only the closing. Sorry, it's closing. Breathing opening.
The thing which confused me about that is people can't really decide what genre it is. Like some people are saying it's a really gritty drama, other people saying it's a comedy.
It's definitely a comedy. The trailer seems to suggest it's a comedy.
I can't imagine him not doing a comedy.
Yeah. There's just a lot of TIFF this year looks so. Like one of the guys at the programme on his desk, and I was just flicking through it. There's so many good films for TIFF. Another film that I really want to see is Foxtrot. Have you heard about this film? The Israeli film.
Maybe.
About a soldier who, under circumstances, becomes. The trailer and some of the clips from the film just look really like something new and interesting.
I don't think I know that one. I'll definitely check it out though.
But we will have a London Film Festival preview coming up, and maybe even do an episode of the LFF, right? Because
well, we're both planning to see a lot of films there, so we could do a special 1 week. Forget the normal format and just talk about the films we saw at the festival.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, another film which came out in Cannes, which we might as well which you can talk about now is what's it called? The one with Adam Sandler.
Merit Stories.
Yeah. That one that's really good.
When's it coming out on Netflix?
That's October, I think. It's been announced. I think it's October.
Yes. But, I'm a big Noah Baumbach fan. I've sung his praises to you many times.
Yeah. I'm a big Adam Sandler fan as well.
Oh,
particularly when he does non-Adam Sandler films. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's. I haven't said that I wasn't a big fan of.
Did you see that Sandy Westler film? Was it called Wade and Agent?
No. But apparently
2.5 hours long.
Apparently that is still very Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
No. Like Kevin James and all those.
Yeah, the crew. Yeah. The boys. I've not seen a bad. The worst Noah Baumbach film I've seen is Kicking and Screaming, and that is just like it could have been so much better. But he's really his form over the last sort of 5 years just been every film he knocks out of the park.
Yeah.
Mistress America, While We're Young. A lot of them are on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some of the films, I just can't remember what they are now.
Yeah,
speaking of Kicking and Screaming, do you want to talk about Kevin Trevorrow leaving?
Colin Trevorrow, yeah.
I've got it right. Let's do that again.
Where do you want me to start?
Well, what do you think of the whole situation, I guess? Do you want me to... because I've got some opinions.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I think it's weird.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Not after the reception that got Book of Henry got, and apparently it's been very difficult.
Oh, not even that, I don't think.
What surprised you about it then?
Disney sort of
Doesn't surprise.
the machine.
Well, what does surprise me is that they started out getting these sort of indie directors like Gareth Edwards and Phil Lord and Chris Miller and Josh Trank, and then they've suddenly done a U-turn.
And Ryan Williams to some extent as well.
Ryan Johnson, you mean?
Ryan Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, but then he hasn't really seemed to have a problem.
No.
They haven't really seemed to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
No, perhaps Looper. I imagine Looper. I don't think they will now. It's too close to these dates, really.
Well,
Unless something's already happened and it won't come out until then.
Yeah.
But yeah, Looper's more of a studio production, so he's probably used to that kind of situation. But no, it just feels weird that again all these fresh directors want fresh takes for Star Wars, something different. And I don't know, something suddenly switched, and now they want very sort of run in the mill. I'm sure all their films will still be good. Maybe not Han Solo, maybe the change director.
The thing is, these are films that are just like the way that they're made now. It's just
factory production.
Yeah, well, no, they're even more precise and like even a little bit insidious. They're sort of every creative decision was taken on the basis of focus groups and like a microscopic understanding of what the audience want, and that immediately spells danger for directors, especially like Chris Lord and is it Chris Lord and Phil Miller?
Phil Lord and Chris.
Yes, I knew it. Bloody
yeah.
I knew it. Those two. That immediately spelled a problem for them because they their films with a lot of personality.
But then they must have known that. Why hire them to start?
Yes, this is interesting.
And
that's what I do. I do ask that question. Why not just bring in a hack? Like Ron Howard, and then
Ron Howard can produce a good film.
He's a hack. He's such a hack. Well, he can produce a good film by accident.
No, I think all his films are good. They're not necessarily original. Maybe not always films, but
well, anyway, yeah. Going back to the Star Wars point, we can dedicate a whole episode to Ron Howard if you want. Exactly. Because he's shit.
No, I like his films, but I wouldn't want to talk about them all.
We'll go from the beginning to, but what's the problem? Yeah, is that why don't Star Wars bring in more sort of Ron Howard types? If that's what
they clearly the Obi-Wan movie they're Stephen Frears, is it?
But what changed?
That's what I want to know. Why they suddenly
was it the success of Episode 7? Because J.J. Abrams, as much as like he is a good director, he's a hack.
Yeah, but that's because he's known no different. He's only ever directed these big Hollywood productions.
And his background was in high budget TV, where he acted more like an investor. He's very much.
He can be an indie producer, like if you look at the Cloverfield films. But if he can't direct an indie film, if you gave him $5 million.
Well, Cloverfield was interesting because Cloverfield was like, mate, it's like, because J.J. Abrams tries more as a sort of his mindset as an investor. I think you got that with Episode 7, was it? Like he has like a massive menu, and no one really knows how much creative freedom he got. But he chose to in this film.
I don't think he would have come back if he didn't think he would have a certain amount of creative freedom.
I don't know about that, but
and I think there'd be more.
I think he has this menu of choices, and he chose what to invest in, and those elements that he invested in are really clear in starting Episode 7, aren't they? Like I'm going to invest in the traditional parts of the original trilogy. I'm going to invest in like big, like emotional, like swoops. That is what made Star Wars so successful. Like he has a perfect mindset for Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's why it's so confusing when they hired everyone else. Like these other like raft of.
Well, no, because originally what it was going to be is you have these sort of mainstream directors throughout the main trilogy, and then you'll have something different for these anthology movies. Which do you think it's? But now, perhaps it's the success of Rogue One.
But do you think it's It's a reaction to a lot of films that have taken risks with this creative decisions and tanked like the Mummy.
Maybe, and also it could just be two separate decisions by directors. It might not necessarily be a whole Lucasfilm ethos. I mean, I think it probably is, but it's not necessarily that. Like Josh Trank, they fired because Fantastic Four didn't do well. That's pretty obvious. The Phil Lord and Chris Miller one.
Well, I think a lot of the things that emerged about. I don't think it was because Fantastic Four didn't do well. I think it was a lot of what
was badly made,
and a lot of what emerged about on set. Yeah,
and how he disowned the film, Even if the film is crap, you don't do that the day before it's released.
No.
Well,
it wasn't. He claimed it was the studio.
Yeah, but you don't do that the day before it's released. It doesn't show brand loyalty, does it? Chris Lord and Phil Miller, Lord and Miller, they there's so many rumours going around that hype that Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote the screenplay, he didn't like the direction it was going, etc., etc. And then this new one, apparently it's kind of he was too demanding on set. They had different visions, and probably the Book of Henry.
But what's going to happen? What's going to happen is the same thing that happened with Rogue One, where like leading up to it, there's all these rumours, and then it comes out, and then everyone forgets about it. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. People haven't really forgot about Rogue One, mainly because of these things that have come afterwards.
Yeah,
they go, but Gareth Edwards, he had the film taken.
But
out
these films
well.
will just turn over like a shitload of money. And it'll be, and as far as Disney's concerned, like if it does that, then it's a job well done, and we can continue. Because Disney are now untoppable beasts. Like you can't
you look
define
at Marvel, and you don't know how much creative control they.
Well, I mean, you can see from the films, there's not that much creative control.
No, there's differences between.
A lot of Marvel films look the same.
Yeah,
they look
a lot of
very
the early
similar.
ones do.
They hit all the same beats as well. Like
there's
a rhythm that you come to expect from a Marvel film.
Well, Taika Waititi was saying with Thor Ragnarok, he made his film, and then the Marvel people came in afterwards and said, we need a tie-in here, we need this here, we need, etc., etc. So it seems like they want a director's vision, and then they'll come in afterwards and kind of mess with it to make it more in line with what they want, rather than them saying to a director, do this, this, and this.
You'll never know that, because the thing is that, like, yeah, he will say that because he's under contract.
But at the same time,
Edgar Wright would say that because he's had a falling out, but we don't know which side is sort of true.
No.
On the one hand, Edgar Wright might just say it because it's sort of sour grapes, and Taika Waititi might genuinely be telling the truth. We just don't know. There's a lot. Colin Trevorrow's film, Safety Not Guaranteed, brilliant film. That is a film. That film suggested blockbuster sensibilities. Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Lord and Miller, they were already making. What did they start off before 21 Jump Street?
Cloudy with Chance of Meatballs. It's all animated.
Okay, so there's also very.
There's still a very
odd. It is an odd choice. God, they are really good as well.
Yeah.
Like they haven't made a bad film.
No, but it's
and they did a Lego movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They're studio films, but they
make
still
money.
Have a very personal touch.
Yeah, they make. But I think because their sense of humour is got this brilliant thing where, and it even affects 21 Jump Street, where kids and adults can like it, because like my mum loves 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, so do my parents.
It just sort of shifts the boundary up a little bit to 15. And Cloud with the Chance of Meatballs and the Lego Movie, like everyone loves the Lego Movie.
That's what I mean, because it has this unique style.
The thing with Star Wars is there's so many more considerations that are extrinsic to the film.
Yeah, definitely. But,
I mean, a lot of like the cynic will say that these films are just sort of vehicles to shift products, right?
Yeah.
Which is to some extent is true, but I mean, like a lot of what people resonate with Star Wars is this sort of intrinsic idea of what Star Wars is, and maybe they were meddling with that a little bit too much, because that's also what J.J. Abrams did well. He was able to capture that intrinsic Star Warsiness, if you know what I mean. Like it felt like it belonged to that thing we all loved in the first place.
Well, they still like Ryan Johnson because no matter what he's doing, he's still got this.
So you can sort of defend Disney from that point of view, like.
Oh, yeah, I don't think
Star Wars is
entirely. I don't think I can criticise.
Yeah, Star Wars is sacred, like to many people.
Yeah, I can definitely understand where they're coming from. It's just why did they change their mind to start with?
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel we should wrap up. So I feel we should have wrapped up about 5 minutes ago.
Well, how long? Okay, yeah, cool.
Okay, so shall I announce my film?
Yeah, no, go on.
Right, so the reason I've chosen this film is because it's very different to the two we've done so far.
Graduate and
Paradise. Yeah, it's also a very unique film in its own sense.
Oh,
and it's one that I know you haven't seen because we've spoken about it. We haven't spoken about it recently. We've spoken about it before. And you said you haven't seen it. It's I can't remember the year. It's either 2010, I'll say. Documentary Dear Zachary.
Oh yes, I'm excited to watch it.
So we'll watch that.
Do you want to give a little summary about what it's about?
It's about a the filmmaker. It's all told from the filmmaker's point of view. It's about him in a way. He's made this documentary for his best friend's son about his father because his father died, and as the film progresses, it shifts and things happen, and it's very interesting. So it's meant to be this sort of family documentary about this, how wonderful this guy is, and it's got interviews with all his family members, and then it sort of, as the film progresses, things happen, and
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil anymore, but I think it'd be interesting to discuss.
All right.
Right, so you can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes and YouTube as well. We are now. You can follow us on Letterboxd. I'm at Jack and Shep. Aaron's at.
Can I just say something quickly?
Right.
The film's IMDb title is actually "Your Father's Murderer: A Letter to Zachary." Right?
Yeah. Oh, alright.
Just to sort
Where
of,
do I get?
because I couldn't find.
I'm sure it's definitely Dear Zachary on there.
I'll have a look at the alternate titles. So just because I was trying to find it to see what it is, 2008. Also known as
Yeah, Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father.
Yeah, the UK title is Your Father's Murderer. But yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to make it clear so if people wanted to find it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Right, so you can find us on what I mentioned. You can follow us on Letterboxd at Jack M. Shep, and Aaron, you're on.
Yep, Kakarun. Something like that.
You can follow us on Twitter as well. You're on Twitter now.
Yeah, I'm setting up Twitter.
Is it Aaron Kakar one?
One, yeah.
I'm on Jack and Shep. You can send us an email at maymolperil at gmail.com, I think. Or yes, we'll say it's that. I'll put the link in the description below just in case. Oh, and you can follow us on Twitter. Did I say that?
Yeah,
I didn't say.
that.
Our podcast Twitter account is now Mild Peril PC, I think.
Okay.
I'll have to double check this the next time.
Just, check out the description, right?
Yeah, check out the description. That will be 100% correct.
Yeah.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.